Ever feel like you need like an MBA just to understand how businesses work these days?
It can definitely feel that way, right? Like all those frameworks and buzzwords.
Exactly. But what if you could get like those core business principles without the hefty price tag of business school? That's where Josh Kaufman's The Personal MBA comes in, right? It's like a cheat sheet for business success.
It really is.
Yeah.
Kaufman boils down those complex business concepts into like practical, actionable steps that anyone can understand, even if you don't have a business background.
So no more feeling lost in a sea of jargon.
Not at all. Kaufman's writing style is incredibly approachable. He cuts through the noise and gets straight to the heart of what matters.
I love that. So where do we even begin?
Well, Kaufman starts by laying out what he calls the 5 interdependent processes of business. He argues that every business, no matter how big or small, relies on these 5 processes working together seamlessly.
Okay, so it's like a well-oiled machine. Each part is crucial.
Exactly. You've got value creation, marketing, sales, value delivery, and finance. Think of them like the gears that keep a business running.
So walk me through those gears. What does each one actually entail?
Sure. Let's start with value creation. This is where you identify a problem that people are willing to pay to solve. You're essentially creating a product or service that delivers value to your target market.
Okay, that makes sense. You're not just selling a product, you're offering a solution.
Exactly. Then comes marketing, which is all about getting the word out about your amazing product or service.
So how do you cut through all the noise and actually reach your ideal customers?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Kaufman talks about the importance of targeting your marketing efforts and crafting a compelling message that resonates with your specific audience. It's about attracting the right customers, not just any customers.
Makes sense. No more shouting into the void. But once you've got their attention, how do you actually turn them into paying customers?
That's where sales come in. And this isn't about being pushy or aggressive. Kaufman emphasizes the importance of building trust, understanding your customers' needs, and clearly communicating the value you provide.
It's about building relationships, not just closing deals. I like that.
Absolutely. And once you've made that sale, you've got to deliver on your promises. That's where value delivery comes in.
So it's not enough to just talk the talk. You have to walk the walk.
Exactly. This stage is all about exceeding expectations, over-delivering, and creating a positive customer experience that keeps people coming back for more.
Okay, so we've got value creation, marketing, sales, and value delivery. What's the final gear in this business machine?
Finance. It ties everything together. This is where you manage your money, track your expenses, and ensure that your business is profitable.
Right, because you can have an amazing product and a loyal customer base, but if you're not managing your finances effectively, the whole thing can fall apart.
You got it. It's all connected.
This is all making a lot of sense, but I'm curious, Kaufman doesn't just focus on the mechanics of business, right? He also delves into the psychology behind why people make decisions.
Absolutely. He argues that understanding human behavior is crucial for business success. In fact, he dedicates a whole section to the ERG theory: existence, relatedness, and growth.
Hold on, ERG, break that down for me.
Sure. It's basically a model for understanding human needs and motivations. At the base level, we have our existence needs. These are our basic survival needs: food, water, shelter. Once those are met, we crave relatedness, connection with others, a sense of belonging. Finally, at the top of the pyramid, we have growth needs, the desire to learn, achieve, and reach our full potential.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do businesses tap into those needs?
Think about it. Every product or service you buy fulfills one or more of these needs, even if you don't realize it consciously.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's take social media. On the surface, it might seem like people are just using it to connect with friends and share funny cat videos, which, let's be honest, is part of it. But on a deeper level, it taps into our need for relatedness, our desire to feel connected to a community.
Wait, so you're saying companies are manipulating our subconscious desires to make us buy things? That's both brilliant and a little bit scary.
It's definitely something to be aware of.
No kidding. Okay, so we've covered the 5 core processes of business and dipped our toes into the psychology behind consumer behavior. But I'm guessing Kaufman doesn't stop there.
You're right. He takes it a step further and dives into what he calls the 5 core human drives.
All right, hit me with them. What are these drives?
These drives are essentially hardwired into us. They influence our decisions and behaviors in countless ways. First up, we have the drive to acquire.
Acquire. So basically our desire to get more stuff.
Exactly. And it's not just about material possessions. It can be anything from knowledge and experiences to status and recognition. Think about the last time you saw a limited time offer or a flash sale. Those marketing tactics play directly into our drive to acquire, creating a sense of urgency and scarcity.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What's the next drive?
The drive to bond. Humans are social creatures. We crave connection, belonging, and intimacy.
So how does that play out in the business world?
Think about brands that have created a cult-like following. It's not just about the product itself, it's about the community they've built around it. People feel a sense of belonging, of being part of something bigger than themselves.
So true. I'm thinking about some of my favorite brands, and it's definitely the community aspect that keeps me coming back. Okay, what's the next drive on the list?
The drive to learn. We're naturally curious beings. We crave knowledge, understanding, and mastery.
Makes sense. But how can businesses tap into that drive? It's not like everyone's walking around looking for a business lesson, right?
Not necessarily. But think about the last time you watched a tutorial video or read an article about a topic that interested you. That's the drive to learn in action. Businesses can leverage this by providing valuable content that educates and empowers their customers.
So it's not always about the hard sell. Sometimes it's about providing value and building relationships through education. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay,
Yeah.
we've got acquire, bond, and learn. What's next?
The drive to defend. This one's all about protecting ourselves, our loved ones, and our possessions.
Okay, that makes sense in a primal sense, but how does that translate to business decisions?
Think about insurance companies. They tap into our drive to defend by offering us a sense of security and protection. Or think about products that are marketed as being safe or reliable.
Interesting. It's like they're playing on our fears and insecurities to sell us something.
In a way, yes, but it's not always that manipulative. Sometimes it's about offering genuine solutions that address a real need for safety and security.
That's a good point. Okay, we've got one drive left. Hit me with it.
The drive to feel. This one encompasses our desire for pleasure, excitement, and emotional connection.
So businesses are trying to make us feel something.
Exactly. Think about experiences that evoke strong emotions. A moving film, a beautiful piece of music, an incredible meal. Businesses are constantly striving to create products, services, and experiences that tap into our emotions and create lasting memories.
Wow, when you break it down like that, it's amazing how much thought goes into every aspect of business. Okay, so we've covered the 5 core processes and the 5 core human drives. That's a lot of information. What's next on our personal MBA journey?
Well, once you have a product or service idea and you understand what motivates your target market, Kaufman argues that it's crucial to carefully evaluate your market. He provides 10 different factors to consider.
10. Okay, give me the highlights. What are the most important things to consider when sizing up a market?
Well, one key factor is urgency. How badly do people need what you're offering? Is it a nice-to-have or a must-have? The greater the urgency, the more likely people are to buy. Another crucial factor is market size.
Right. There's no point in targeting a tiny niche market if you're trying to build a large, scalable business.
Exactly. And here's where Kaufman throws in some counterintuitive advice. He says it's often better to choose markets with competition.
Wait, really? That seems counterintuitive. Wouldn't it be easier to stand out in a market where you're the only game in town?
It might seem that way, but think about it. If there are already established competitors in a market, it means there's a proven demand for that product or service. People are already spending money in that space.
So rather than having to educate your market and convince them that they need what you're selling, you can focus on differentiating yourself from the competition and offering something truly unique.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder, which is a recurring theme in the Personal MBA. Kaufman also highlights the importance of understanding the pricing potential of a market.
So how much are people willing to pay for a solution to their problem?
Precisely. You need to find a price point that's attractive to customers, but also allows you to generate a healthy profit margin. It's about finding that sweet spot.
That makes a lot of sense. So you've evaluated your market, you've got a solid understanding of your target customer. What's next?
Now it's time to get your hands dirty and start building. Kaufman is a huge proponent of prototyping.
Prototyping, isn't that just a fancy word for testing?
It's more than just testing. It's about bringing your ideas to life in a tangible way so you can get feedback from real users.
Okay, I see. So it's about getting out of your head and into the real world.
Exactly. And Kaufman provides a really helpful framework for the prototyping process. He calls it the 6-step iterative process. Watch, ideate, guess, which, act, measure.
Okay, there are a lot of verbs in there. Break that down for me.
Sure. It starts with observation. Watching how people interact with existing products or services in your market. Then you move into the ideation phase, where you brainstorm potential solutions. Next, you make an educated guess about which solution is most likely to succeed. Then, you choose a specific solution to develop, take action, and create a prototype. And finally, you measure the results of your prototype and gather feedback.
So it's not a linear process. It's about constantly circling back, refining, and improving based on feedback.
Exactly. It's an ongoing conversation with your target market.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've got a prototype, we've gotten some feedback, now what?
Now it's time to talk marketing. And Kaufman's approach to marketing is all about attracting the right prospects to your business, those who are genuinely interested in what you have to offer.
I like the sound of that. No more wasting time and money on marketing messages that fall on deaf ears. So how do we make sure we're reaching the right people?
Well, Kaufman talks about the importance of capturing attention in a crowded marketplace. He suggests several intriguing strategies.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me some of Kaufman's marketing gold.
One effective tactic is piquing curiosity. Instead of hitting people with a hard sell right off the bat, try to intrigue them. Ask a question, present a puzzle, or hint at something exciting to come. Make them want to learn more.
Okay, that's clever. What else?
Another strategy Kaufman suggests is leveraging controversy constructively.
Controversy. Now hold on. We're not talking about being offensive or alienating potential customers, are we?
Of course not. It's not about being deliberately provocative or disrespectful, but taking a stand, even if it ruffles a few feathers and sparks debate, can be incredibly effective for cutting through the noise and getting people talking about your brand.
I see. It's about being bold and memorable, standing out from the crowd in a way that's authentic to your brand.
Exactly. And finally, Kaufman emphasizes the importance of identifying and utilizing market entry points.
Market entry points, what are those?
Essentially, they're opportunities to reach your target audience where they already are. It could be a specific online forum, a conference, or even a partnership with another business that caters to your ideal customer.
So it's about being strategic and meeting your customers where they are. This is all making a lot of sense.
It's about being deliberate and intentional with your marketing efforts.
Okay, so let's say you've nailed your marketing and you've got a prospect's attention. What's next?
Time for the sales process, which is all about earning trust and demonstrating the value you bring to the table. Kaufman breaks down several pricing methods to consider.
Okay, I'm ready to talk pricing. What are some of the approaches Kaufman suggests?
One common method is replacement cost pricing, where you determine the cost of producing your product or service and add a markup to ensure profitability.
That makes sense. It's a pretty straightforward way to determine pricing. What are some of the other methods?
Another approach is market comparison pricing. This is where you look at what your competitors are charging for similar products or services and set your prices accordingly.
So it's all about staying competitive within your market.
Exactly. You also have discounted cash flow pricing.
Okay, that one sounds a bit more complex. Break it down for me.
Essentially, this method involves projecting your future cash flow and then discounting it back to its present value.
So it's about factoring in the time value of money.
Precisely. And finally, you have value comparison pricing.
All right, what's the deal with that one?
This method is all about understanding the perceived value of your product or service to your customers. You're essentially pricing based on the value you're providing, rather than just your costs or what your competitors are doing.
So if you can clearly articulate that value proposition, the price becomes less of a barrier for customers.
Exactly. It's about communicating the worth of what you're offering.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so you've demonstrated the value, you've set your price, now it's time for the negotiation phase. And let's be honest, that can feel a little intimidating sometimes.
It doesn't have to be. Kaufman breaks down the 3 universal currencies of negotiation resources, time, and flexibility.
So it's not just about the money.
Right. It might be about securing a better timeline, more flexible terms, or even just ensuring that both parties feel good about the agreement moving forward.
That makes a lot of sense. Thinking about it in terms of those currencies makes it seem much more approachable. Okay, so let's say we've aced the negotiation, we've got a happy customer. What's next in the business journey?
Now it's all about delivering on those promises and exceeding expectations. Kaufman stresses the importance of streamlining your value stream.
Value stream. That's just a fancy way of saying make the process as efficient as possible, right?
You got it. The simpler and more streamlined your operations are, the less room there is for error and the happier your customers will be.
And happier customers mean more business. So how do we go about streamlining this mystical value stream?
Kaufman provides a 5-step process for identifying and alleviating constraints within any system.
Constraints. Is that just a fancy word for problems?
Essentially, yes. Constraints are anything that's holding you back from achieving your goals, bottlenecks, inefficiencies, or areas where things are slowing down the process.
Okay, I'm following you. So what are the 5 steps to tackle these constraints?
First, you need to identify the constraint. This involves taking a close look at your processes and figuring out where the bottlenecks are.
So it's about really understanding how your business operates step by step.
Exactly. Once you've identified the constraint, you need to exploit it.
Exploit it.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit aggressive.
Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. Exploiting the constraint simply means finding ways to get the most out of it with minimal changes to the system.
Okay, I'm starting to see the logic here. What's next?
Next, you subordinate all other processes to the constraint.
So the constraint becomes the top priority.
Precisely. Everything else revolves around making sure that constraint is operating at peak efficiency.
Interesting. What's step number 4?
Once you've subordinated other processes, you need to elevate the constraint.
So it's not just about making the most of what you have, it's about finding ways to improve and enhance the constraint itself.
Exactly. This might involve investing in new equipment, training your team, or finding creative ways to boost efficiency.
Okay, we're on the final step. What's the last piece of the puzzle?
The final step is to repeat the process.
So it's an ongoing cycle of identifying, exploiting, subordinating, elevating, and repeating.
Exactly. Continuous improvement is key. Now, beyond optimizing your systems, Kaufman also emphasizes the importance of managing expectations.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting. We've talked a lot about the customer-facing side of things, but what about the numbers? Finance can feel like a whole other beast.
Absolutely. And Kaufman doesn't shy away from that. He dedicates a significant portion of the book to demystifying finance and explaining why it's crucial for any business owner to have a solid grasp of the financials. He keeps emphasizing that business is about what you keep, not just what you make.
What exactly does that mean?
It's a great point. It's so easy to get caught up in revenue and think that's the be-all and end-all. But if you're not managing your expenses carefully, if you're not profitable, then that revenue doesn't mean much in the long run.
So it's about being smart with your money, not just chasing after bigger and bigger numbers.
Exactly. It's about building a sustainable business that can weather the inevitable ups and downs. He also dives into the world of financial statements, which can feel like a foreign language to many entrepreneurs.
Oh, tell me about it. Balance sheets, income statements, cash flow statements. It's enough to make your head spin.
I hear you. But Kaufman does a great job of breaking these statements down into manageable chunks, explaining what each line item means and why it's important. He even provides some helpful tips for analyzing these statements and using them to make better business decisions.
So we've talked a lot about the customer-facing side of things, but what about the numbers? Finance can feel like a whole other beast.
Absolutely. And Kaufman doesn't shy away from that. He dedicates a significant portion of the book to demystifying finance and explaining why it's crucial for any business owner to have a solid grasp of the financials.
He keeps emphasizing that business is about what you keep, not just what you make. What exactly does that mean?
That's a great point. It's so easy to get caught up in revenue and think that's the be-all and end-all. But if you're not managing your expenses carefully, if you're not profitable, then that revenue doesn't mean much in the long run.
So it's about being smart with your money, not just chasing after bigger and bigger numbers.
Exactly. It's about building a sustainable business that can weather the inevitable ups and downs.
It's about having a solid foundation to build on. Now, something I found really interesting was Kaufman's take on systems. He really breaks down how important it is to not only understand the systems at play in your business, but also to analyze and improve them constantly.
This is where things get really powerful, because it gives you a framework for doing just that. He talks about identifying the limiting factor in any system, the bottleneck that's holding you back, and focusing your efforts on addressing that.
It's almost like that old saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Exactly. By identifying and strengthening those weak links, you can dramatically improve the overall efficiency of your business.
Makes sense. It's about working smarter, not harder. Okay, so we've covered the 5 core processes of business, dove into customer psychology, explored marketing and sales, tackled finance, and talked systems. But there's one crucial element we haven't touched on yet, Tardu.
I was just about to say, the Personal MBA isn't just about the mechanics of business. It's about personal productivity, self-management, and building good habits.
It's about showing up as the best version of yourself in order to run the best version of your business, right?
You got it.
So we've covered marketing, sales, operations, but you're saying there's a secret weapon we haven't unlocked yet.
You could say that. It's something a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when they're just starting out, really struggle with delegation.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm a master at thinking if you want it done right, do it yourself. But I'm guessing Kaufman has a different perspective.
He definitely does. He argues that learning to delegate effectively is crucial for growth, both for your business and for yourself.
Okay, I'm listening. Convince me.
Well, think about it this way. You only have so much time and energy in a day. When you try to do everything yourself, you become the bottleneck.
Ouch. That hits a little too close to home. But if I'm not the one doing it, how can I be sure it'll get done right?
That's where trust comes in. You need to build a team of people you trust to handle tasks effectively and efficiently. Plus, when you delegate tasks that are outside your zone of genius, you free yourself up to focus on what you do best, whether that's strategizing, innovating, building relationships, or anything else that lights you up.
And it's not just about freeing up your own time, it's about empowering your team and giving them opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. When done well, delegation becomes a win-win for everyone involved. And speaking of building a team, Kaufman offers some really interesting insights on management and leadership.
Yeah, he talks about the importance of communicating commander's intent. What does he mean by that?
It's about going beyond just assigning tasks. It's about clearly articulating the why behind the work, the bigger picture you're all working towards. Imagine you're a soldier on a mission. You need to understand not just your individual task, but also the overall objective of the mission. That's commander's intent.
So it's about creating a sense of shared purpose and understanding.
Exactly. When people feel connected to the mission, when they understand how their work contributes to something larger than themselves, their motivation and engagement skyrocket.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about fostering that sense of ownership and buy-in. Now, we've talked a lot about the practical, actionable strategies in the Personal MBA, but there's also this underlying thread of personal growth and self-discovery that really resonates with me.
Absolutely. Kaufman doesn't shy away from the personal side of entrepreneurship. In fact, he argues that it's essential for long-term success, both in business and in life.
He has this great quote about the 5 whys, like keep asking yourself why until you get to the root of what you truly want. Could you refresh my memory on that one?
Of course. It's a powerful exercise for getting to the heart of your motivations. Let's say your goal is to start a successful business. You ask yourself, why do I want to start a successful business? Maybe your answer is to have more freedom and flexibility. But then you dig deeper and ask, why is freedom and flexibility important to me? And so on, until you uncover those deeper values and aspirations that are driving you.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion to get to the heart of the matter.
Precisely. And once you understand those core values, you can start making decisions from a place of alignment, which makes the entire entrepreneurial journey so much more fulfilling.
It's about building a business that's an extension of yourself, not just some money-making machine.
Exactly. It's about creating something meaningful, something that aligns with your passions and your vision for the world.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Personal MBA, I'm curious, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
For me, it's the reminder that business success isn't some mystical, unattainable thing reserved for a select few. It's about mastering a set of principles, developing key skills, and consistently taking action.
It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, surrounding yourself with the right people, and embracing the journey, challenges, and all.
Exactly. And the Personal MBA is an incredible resource for anyone looking to do just that, whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out.
It's a crash course in business and personal growth all rolled into one. So if you're ready to level up your business game and your life, definitely add the Personal MBA to your reading list. You won't regret it. What's the one thing you would implement from the book just to get started?
That's a great question. For me, it would be Kaufman's emphasis on identifying and focusing on your unique selling proposition. It's such a simple concept, but it's so powerful. Once you understand what makes you truly unique, what sets you apart from the competition, you can start building a business that truly stands out.
That's a fantastic takeaway. All right, listeners, there you have it. It's time to put on your thinking caps and figure out what makes you stand out. That's a wrap on this deep dive into Josh Kaufman's The Personal MBA. We hope you learned a ton and feel inspired to take action. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.